All right, welcome everyone back to another episode of the Broker to Broker podcast. It's actually episode 223. I'm your host, Marc Summers, founding president of AIME. Today, very excited. This guy has a very, very great story. If you've ever been to one of our events, I'm sure you've met him. He's always there, always being very positive. But today, very excited to announce to the broker community that we are welcoming CEO and lead originator for Redefine Home Loans, Joe Almeida Jr. Joe, thanks for joining us today.
What's up, AIM community? I'm super stoked to be here. Thank you for the invite, and I can't wait to drop some hammers and some bombs on this podcast so we can all grow together.
Perfect, perfect. No, you have a great, unique story. You know what I mean? You have a journey. Let's just be honest here. You know what I mean? So tell us about your journey because it's a very unique one.
Hey, thank you so much. This question is already bringing me memories of the past. Came to the United States, 19 years old, $500 in my pocket through the legal way, by the way, and um, started to work in the United States. And in 2002, experienced for the first times homelessness. The story goes that I was renting an apartment with my sister. It was just one bedroom, one bath. We barely living, and we were able to sum up some money to get a two-bedroom, two-bath apartment. We did the first last security deposit, and 2 days before going to the new apartment, we received a phone call saying that the apartment was not ready due to the previous tenants making damages to the property. So they told us that they needed 25 to 30 days, basically another month, and we didn't have a place to go. So what we've done, we started sleeping in our cars for a little while. Took showers at the beach, right in Deerfield Beach, Florida. And then the pastor of our church found out what's going on with us. And the church was pretty big. They had a church house, but there was a single pastor already living at the house, and they could not put a single man and a single woman over there. And the only choice available for us was the janitorial's office of the church. And I'm super glad that they opened up the door. We went to Walmart, bought a bunch of stuff with some inflatable beds. And I slept for 30 days at the church's office. And pretty much, I mean, rats and roads were part of the deal, but it was better that than to actually stay in a car, being afraid of people breaking into your cars, or even worse, having to sleep on the street. But the good side of all this was that I was able to pick up some extra jobs. I was working only 3 hours a day, so I didn't have to be on that position. And that installed that hustle mentality that you are not defined by your past, but you can actually envision and make your future.
No, that's great. So you use that as a background, as a motivator. How did you put that into mortgages?
Interesting question, because yesterday I was talking to a gentleman over here and they asked me the same thing. I think the first thing that made me realize about mortgages is that I can do mortgages with a purpose, not just for the paycheck. In every industry, there are those that do it because they love, and also there are those that do it for the money. And I think this is a key difference, at least for me, to be able to tell the journey that I did not have, that I actually had to work harder, that have to actually work, and sleep at a place that for many people to say, I would have never put myself on that situation. It made me realize that homeownership is more than financial wealth. Homeownership is more than having a retirement for the future. Homeownership is purpose. There is no better sense of security of knowing that you have a place that you can put your head on the pillow, that you can pay for it, and you know that it's yours.
No, that's phenomenal. So you have that part of your journey. Tell us about your journey into mortgages. How did you step into this industry?
Great question. It gives me an opportunity to highlight one of the most important persons of my life, which is my wife. So the journey started. I actually went to culinary school to be an executive chef. And while I was working, I got let go of one of the favorite jobs that I have, and I started to help in a church. And then my wife said to me, listen, you would be great doing mortgages. She was already processing for 10 years, worked with multiple brokers, very successful, you know what I mean? And she was like, you will be the best for this position. I can see your future in that. And I was like, no, this is not for me. This is too difficult. So she told me this. Why don't you go do the test? Promise me that you're gonna work wholeheartedly for it. And if you don't pass, we don't talk about it. And I was like, you know what? I'm already helping in the church. It's not like I have a real job anymore. I'll do it. So I started for 60 days and I passed with 78. And that's how everything started. It's my wife that installed that drive that there is more to come. And mortgage has been a totally moment of deliverance for my life.
Well, we got to thank her because you've been a blessing for us. Not only AIM but the mortgage community, always being very positive. So next, if I ever meet her, I'll tell her thank you.
There we go.
Yes. So, but with all this being said, so you got your license, and then were you a broker right away, or how have you been with the same company? How has that gone?
Awesome. What a great question. Back takes me back to 2018. So when I got my license, I was working for another brokerage, a very good company. I still have a relationship with my broker back in then. And the way it worked in 2018, they told me to do all the old ways of doing business. You know what I mean? Call the realtors, invite them for coffee, and try to go to these places and network. But nothing worked for me. I got my license in the middle of 2018, and I did not close one loan until January 2019. But what happened was I spent all the rest of the money that I have, all the credit cards, and I bought a course about direct to consumer. And I was highlighting first time responders, highlighting first time home buyers, doing a lot of social media. And I was starting to have 100 to 200 leads a day. And I noticed that when I approached the realtors, they would take me for lunch or for dinner. I would end up paying for the lobster dinner, but I was too new. And they were looking at me, it's like, listen, I like you, but I don't know if I can bank with you. I don't know if I can trust you with my commission, which was understanding after the lobster deal. Was a little bit pissed off about it. But at the end of the day, it was the game was played that way. So now when I did direct to consumer, I noticed that out of 100 leads, six of them would be ready. Three of them tops was ready to put an offer in, but they don't have a realtor. So I started leveraging direct to consumer to get better realtors. So instead of telling the realtors, can you give me a referral? I was flipping the script on them saying, hey, I have a couple of people pre-approved. They don't have a realtor. I would love to work with you, but there's a things are important for me, such as integrity, relationship. And if you're willing to show your callers on this one, how about I give you a loan for you to get started? I'm not promising you're going to make $1 million on the first deal, but how about a $6,000 to $10,000 commission? And we see if it is a good relationship to get started. And that's how I build my network to 50 plus realtors referral and still do a little bit of direct consumer as well.
That's awesome. Now, before we hopped on, kind of everything we spoke about here, you brought up a book. Tell us about this.
So I was challenged, and this is like an amazing opportunity. I was very ashamed to tell the story about homelessness because I feel indignity about it for a long time. And the first person that made expose this was Katie. Katie Sweeney was the first one that spoke with me, and I felt like a little old me and the CEO back in the day for AIM saying, "No, you don't need to be ashamed. You can expose. This is something good." And then I had a mentor. I still have a mentor, and said, "Why don't you write at least one chapter? You always wanted to write a book." So I wrote it in Portuguese, the story of this life and how mindset is really the situation. Everybody goes through many trials and tribulations. And at the end of the day, what makes a difference is how well you think through those trials. Because you're either going to be stuck in the past, you're either going to be delusional about the future, but there is always today. And being better every day is the key. So I wrote it down, and by writing with a bunch of different authors, so it was 13 of us together, sort of like a contacts. um, I was able to win first place. We published the book It's in Portuguese though, but I translated my chapter in English. This word means metanoia, which means to change your mind. And now I got a book coming up, most likely by 2027 should be completed, and it's called Glorified Employee: How to Move Over from Self-Employment to Becoming a Beast in Business.
That's awesome. I can't wait. 2027, you said, right?
Yes, 2026 is all the writing. And then that is the post edit and line edits and chapter edits. And then hopefully we can get us something going. But summer of 2027, this is our target line for the release.
Well, we're looking forward to it. Okay, so with everything you have a book. Not to bring it up again. You've been homeless. You're a mortgage broker. You've done a lot of different things here. How do you translate that into your lending?
What a perfect question. I think that the best way that you can translate this to lending is to understand that you hold such a knowledge and such a power that you can become an agent of transformation. Every time I tell the story, I tell everybody that the number one reason that people don't buy a home is not money, is not credit, is not down payment, is not closing cost, it's just a lack of a plan. And I use that because when I went through everything that I did go through, it was sitting down with people, with the pastors, some of the friends in the church, and putting a plan together that helped me scale, not only for the mortgage business. I am so thankful for so many people. Brandon has been an amazing help. Anthony Casa, I can have testimony how he changed my life in 2019 by writing a script for me on a napkin that revolutionized my career in such a way. But I say that what brought the most is the audacity to talk to the client and say, you can put a plan together, you can follow the plan, and instead of me trying to be the hero of the story, I changed the mindset. Let me be the coach, let me be the guide. I noticed that by being the guide and allowing that person or that family becoming the hero has provided us with much more success than trying to be that guy that is the Superman that everybody's called upon. I hope that makes sense. Does it?
Yeah, no, it does. I'm with you 100% here. All right. So, one of the things in one of our pre-meetings, you said that you call your process a mortgage assembly line. What does that mean, and what do you see brokers missing out on in regards to that assembly line?
Man, this is amazing. Love this question. Let me put a little phrase for you. So I work as an executive chef. By the way, I still cook for friends and family, not for money anymore. So I'll invite you for a special dinner one of these days for sure. But
You're a man of many talents.
let me make it this a simple way. Whenever you are in the kitchen to cook, and you have to produce 3 or 4 5-course meal, it is impossible to do it unless you have your sous chef, you have your prep work, you have your assembly line that can now push the meal on the same manner, with the same taste, with the same presentation, with the expectation to provide a smile at the end of the line. So when I come to mortgage, what I notice is that a lot of loan originators, they want to be everything. And there's nothing wrong. We have some people that are able to do 200 loans by themselves. I mean, Todd Bitter is an example of that, right? But not everybody can handle that, and not everybody leverage technology to be doing that. What I came to realize that if I focus on the area that I produce the most money, I'll be making 800, $1,000 an hour. But if I focus on other things, I'm doing minimum wage job. So if you think about this process, how deliver a beautiful plate for somebody to eat, you have 14, 15 people in the kitchen sometimes, depends on the size, but a typical kitchen has 5 people. And I believe that every broker owner should believe and should thinking about creating your 5 pieces of the puzzle that would take you from 5 to 7 loans a month and scale to the point that your own production can go up. And this is what I'm working on it right now. I believe I can do 50 to 100 loans a month. But if I don't have the right team about it, if I cannot create this assembly like this way to deliver the best meal, I'm always going to be stuck with a small restaurant. And it is okay for brokers that want it to be a boutique style, closing a few loans. And it's okay for some loan origination that they don't want to go, they don't want to have that next level mindset. They are okay where they are. It's good, but this is not me. And in order for to do that, I noticed that I need to have somebody that helps me approve the clients. So I call it, some people call loan partner one. I call it my pre-approved specialist. I need to have my pipeline manager or somebody that takes over the deal, is a direct to the client when I'm not present. Definitely need a very good processor. And if you're starting to go non-debt or anything of that manner, you're definitely going to need a huge closer that can take care of those pipelines. And then you have to take care of your people, talking about giving them a good pay, also give them some benefits, you know what I mean, 401k distribution, profit sharing. You need to figure out a way. But if you want to scale, you're going to have to put a team around you that says, that little code that says that if you want to go fast, you go by yourself. But if you want to go further, it takes a team, you know?
I love it. Well, with putting that team together and all the systems that you use, how do you ensure that everything you're doing is scalable?
Oh, scaling. I'm actually dealing with this right now. A couple of things that I have to say to people. Um, don't try to reinvent the wheel too much. If you know somebody that is doing and doing well, it pays to be coached by somebody that can give you the recipe. I'm going to give you the example of food. If you're going to buy a franchise restaurant, one of the things that you do by buying a franchise is that you buy into the culture and you also buy into the recipes. And you cannot deviate too much about the recipes. I think on the mortgage industry, especially on AIME, there are way too many models. And a new broker like myself coming in, maybe we should talk of that on AIME, right? On Fuse. There's too many models. There is the flat fee model, there is the split model, there is the agency model, there is the putting a bunch of LOs, and there is the one that you build a team around you. And you get very confused because all of them, not everybody shares the recipe how to do it. And then if you're starting up, you go, how am I going to do this? And we get stuck on the how instead of talking of doing now. And I think this has paralyzed a lot of people to actually to help us get more market share in this industry. So going back to being very specific to what you do, we decided to create a recipe that works for us. We have automated about 28 touches on our system. We just incorporated video touches, automatic video touches on our system. And for our people, which is I deal with a lot of the Latino community. WhatsApp is a great tool and they use it the most. So we have to readjust ourselves into a way to synchronize documents in our CRM and in Arrive in order to cater to that community. So now, when a client is approved with conditions, we already have a video that goes out in English, Spanish, and Portuguese, depends on the language, and pretty much says, hey, thank you so much. Your loan has been pre-approved with condition. What does this mean? Is that the underwriter is seeing your file, it looks good, but we're gonna need more documents from you. By the way, I know you wanna talk to me, but this guy over here, this processor, in this case is Bruno for us, he's amazing. He knows better than me. I am the emergency guy. He is the everyday guy. Trust him. He's under my supervision, and you're gonna do wonders. And all of a sudden, your team is in power, and you close loans easier, faster, and you can actually brag to the realtor. We can provide you with a smooth and flawless closing because this is my redefined way of doing business.
Love it. Absolutely love it. That's great. One of the things I know you're big on is education, right? Whether it's helping educate other brokers or helping your community or educating your community. What's one of the biggest misunderstandings or misunderstood, I should say, homeownership truth you wish every borrower knew?
I wish every borrower to know, and this what a great way to highlight something that is extremely important. The number one thing that we address, at least in the Latino community, is how to address fear. And everybody's turning on the TV. There is this fear among problem happening. Houses in a bubble, interest rates are too high. I noticed that the first thing that we have to actually work with everyone, and even some Americans too, is to understand that there is no better time than today because tomorrow ain't guaranteed. And I keep on telling everyone, hey, let's put the fears aside. And the best way to combat fear is with truth and a plan. There's no way to combat fear without it. And if you create that trust, if you can create that rapport with that client and say, listen, this belief that you have is incorrect. Do you know that you can qualify for this down payment assistance program? Do you know that you can qualify for a $13,000 grant? Do you know that Florida has this type of program that is available for you? So why don't you stop being afraid a little bit? Let's get you empowered with knowledge. And I believe even in our community, I think it is time for us to tell everybody and let everybody know that interest rates ain't high. Where I come from, interest rate is 16% on the purchasing of a home. You know what I mean? There is no American dream where I come from. There is no dream at all. Interest rate is not a problem. Uh, what I believe it is the greatest thing that we need to change. It happens between this year and this year. It's the 6 inch, you know what I mean, mindset must be upgraded. The software must change. At the end of the day, if it is raining, somebody's gonna run from the rain or somebody's gonna sell umbrella. And if you're crying, either you're gonna ask for a tissue or somebody's gonna sell you one. It is time to see this not just an opportunity for money and get paid better than a lawyer or a doctor. This is a purpose-driven career called to change people's life and take people that are in homelessness to home and show them that the future that they envision, it starts with a choice of today. And myself and other loan officers listen to this podcast, you are called to be such a person. And if there is something that I would like to awaken in every one of you, is passion. Passion for what to do, purpose for what to do. There is something that calls us to become more so we can win, so we can get market share, and most important, you can create transformation on families' life while making money. There's nothing better than this. Let us awaken to understand that the best moment that we have is right now. Tomorrow is not promised, and the past cannot define us. We can choose to be better every day and go to the next level. And why not go together? Since over here at AIME, I'd love to take all of you with me. I'm super excited.
Very passionate. I absolutely love it, Joe. That's what it's about, though. I mean, I've said it before. We do change people's lives, whether it's upgrading their home or whether it's just getting them into a home they never thought they could afford. I mean, we should be very, very passionate about this and have that inflection that you just had. You know what I mean? So that's awesome. So since I got you all pumped up right now, what is your mindset and vision for Redefine Home Loans for this year and in the future?
Vision for the future. Great question. Makes me remember that I just finished writing it down my vision board. So what I can tell you is this, and maybe this relates to other loan originators and brokers. And if you allow me, Mark, I'm going to be very transparent and very truthful with
Do your
all of
thing.
you that are listening right now. One of the main reasons, one of the main problems when you are the head of the family is that you have a tendency to put everybody first besides yourself. And I came to realize talking to one of my mentors, you know what I mean, talking to Chris Whitsom with Windsor Mortgage, that my number one problem for scaling is not the desire for more, is giving me permission for more, knowing how to love myself. So think about it, a mindset change that I had to go through. I experienced moment of not having enough. of moment of having enough, and now living in a moment that people look and say, man, you own your own building, you got the cars, you got the watches, you got all this, and you go, yeah, but this is irrelevant. You know what I mean? You got to understand that the future calls for your activities of today to be in parallel. This is what I mean. We get burned out because we do stupid things. We do the things that are irrelevant. Most of us, as a loan officer, we struggle because we're doing things that we should not be doing, and kills our focus and kills our motivation, kills, that idea, that vibration, that sound that comes out of us. So I decided to take this year to change everything on the base of how can we love ourselves? How can I love myself? How can I love my team? So one of the things that we provided to our team is profit sharing distribution. So now everybody that works with us have a profit, and we open up the books. Another thing that we're rolling out is for every loan officer that is part of the culture, that is inside of a law, and anyone that works, we provide now benefits with some insurance that we're starting to roll out to our employees. Another thing that I decided that is very, very relevant is for you to instill passion on others and awaken those that are dormant concerning their purpose, their identity. So we decided to bring a couple of mentors, and now everybody has access to mentorship as well in order for them to define their growth. And if I have to look for the future, the greatest advice that I can tell for everybody listening: stop scrolling and stop envisioning. Get rid of the social media for the point of a consumer. Be on a social media for the point of providing value so people can follow you. Stop scrolling, stop wasting time. We are only 28% market share. We need to get to 50% market share in the next 2 years. It depends on you, it depends on me. It's time to show the world that brokers were not the fault of 2008. We are the reason that this industry is going to go to the next level because we are faster, we are quicker than everybody wants, we have better rates, and we are here to win. So if you listen, stop scrolling, start envision your future, and most important, define your process. Define what you want to be. If you want to be a loan officer that does 2 to 3 loans and then you have 30 days vacation with the family, that's fine. But if you want to be on the next level, if you want to close more loans, if you want to tell the world to stop with this fear, I'm going to win because I can control myself. The fact that I can control my actions and control who I am, there is no one that can tell me that I cannot do. If I'm putting on my mind that I'm going to do it, and I hope you're that kind of person as well, let's do it. So for your future, think about your future today and act as it is right now. And I promise this would change the way you do business forever.
Absolutely love it, Joe. You're the man here. This is great. All right, I got two more questions for you. One's a small one. You coming to Fuse this year?
I already paid for fuels. The tickets already purchased. The hotel is already saved. I already got all my people, told them that if they go, I split the hotels with them so they can be there with us. And yes, and if you're there, save me some bourbon, some old fashioned or Manhattan. Let's have some moments together.
All right, now that you're going to be there, and I know you've been there before, what could you tell our listeners right now that are maybe on the fence of coming to Fuse, or I usually don't go to events? What's something that you could tell them positively of a reason why they should come?
For all of those that are listening to me right now and you're in the fence about Fuse, I would like to tell you a very nice story. This story is the story that changed myself when it comes to business. I had bought a building and I had a dream to build something from scratch. There was no AC, nothing over here in the building. And I walked to Fields and I was like, I have to talk to somebody that can give me inspiration to do so. So 3 fuses ago, I talked with Katie, talked with Brandon, with Thomas, and I come up with this idea. I bought a T-shirt from Fuse, and I went to every person that gave me 30 seconds of their attention. I said, listen, I plan to open my own headquarters. Would you sign this shirt so when I open, this would be on my wall. And a lot of people thought it was weird, but I was able to get almost everybody's signature. And the reason I did that is because that I needed inspiration. I needed something to look at it and said, I promised all those people that I was going to do this. So I got it on my wall in my office, a shirt that is signed by you, Mark, by Katie, Anthony Casa, Matt Ishibia, uh, Brando signed the shirt, Thomas signed. So many people signed the shirt for me, and I used that as an inspiration for me to become where I am today and to believe that there is more to do. So if you're thinking about going to Fuse, don't think that this is just a moment to party. If you're thinking about going to Fuse, don't think this is just a moment to get together, to click with some other people that you clicked before. Fuse can be an age and a transformation on your business. You may talk to someone, you may ask for advice, bring your pen and paper, get tons and tons of notes. Then when you come back, you put it to action. And if you don't know how to put it to action, talk to Mark, talk to people at AIME, find yourself a mentor, find somebody that is willing to help. This is not for us just to have a moment together and to see some fancy speaking coming up to tell us what to do. This is beyond that. This is the moment when you are realign yourself with other mindful people and you think, man, I can do more. I can be more. I can act better. And that could become the little thing that takes you to the next level, that makes you close more deals. So don't sleep on it. Get engaged, be transformed, be involved, because you need to understand that is not just your family that is looking up for you to be successful. There are a lot of us looking up on you. There is a lot of us that are looking at your performance and we're going, congratulations, you can do it. Keep on going. AIME is beyond an event. AIME is an opportunity to be together with people that will celebrate your wins. And even when you have struggles, to take out of your norm and make you see that you can do the ordinary extra, therefore becoming extraordinary.
Joe, that was awesome. We're gonna have to clip that one and use that for promotional pieces. So no, hey Joe, listen, I know you're a busy guy. I appreciate your time. Always, thank you for being a supporter of AIME. We do our best. Our team works their tail off, and I know you appreciate us. And I look forward to seeing you at Fuse this year. And I appreciate your time today.
Thank you so much. I was so pumped to get to know that I was going to work on this podcast. For all of us listening to me, forgive me my broken English. I hope you understood everything good. But I want to finalize this with one thing. If you forgot everything, if you did not put the rewind button in order to go back and listen again, I want to end this to let you know, for all of you listening to me, your future depends on you walking in your purpose today. Don't delay. Stop scrolling. Start winning. The future is now. And I would like to walk that future with you. Thank you so much, everybody. Appreciate being here.
Well, you heard it from him. And brokers, if you want to catch up on all of our past podcast episodes, as well as other AIME Network podcasts, please head over to aimegroup.com/broker. You can also listen to and watch all network podcast episodes on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify. If you're on YouTube, use the handle at AIME National. Please subscribe to it, watch them for more great wholesale content. Everyone else, please rate our podcast, leave a review, download it. It helps us spread the word and providing to the world that brokers are best. And Joe, you're obviously one of them. And once again, thank you for your time today.
Pleasure being here. Thank you so much.